Leftists on Blue Sky and on X are celebrating the death of someone that just wanted to engage in debate. And of course, I'm referring to Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. They took out a man in the prime of his life with a wife and two young children who just wanted to engage with people and to try to convince them via rhetoric that they were wrong. Why did they kill him? Because he was so darn effective at it. Because he destroys their arguments every single time. He's well practiced, he's well spoken, he's highly intelligent, and they killed him. This is the way of the left today. They kill anybody that they disagree with. They threaten them. And the point is to keep you silent. You know that there are going to be repercussions, including and up to death. Yeah, if you stood up and you said, I'm not so sure if George Floyd didn't die of an overdose or, he was a career criminal, then you got fired from your job. If you donated to Kyle Rittenhouse's defense fund, as a lieutenant policeman did in Norfolk, Virginia, he got fired for it. Did anybody get fired? Fired for donating to BLM? The point is to shut you up. This is the left's device for doing so. They just go ahead and make you feel pain. And when they lose the argument, then they throw the board over and scatter all the chess pieces and say, bam, you're dead. That's what they do to the Gary Kasparovs, to the Magnus Carlsens, because Charlie Kirk was the Magnus Carlsen of debate. And he was damn good at it. Forgive me for using that word in this horrific moment. And I've been thinking about this all day because it so upsets me that we are in a place where rhetoric gets shut down. And it's the same people, your friends on the left, those benevolent, good people that just want everybody to experience bliss in their life when these people are all miserable souls. But it's the same thing that happened to me, where if somebody happened to disagree with me, they would cancel me. They would shut me off. They would denounce me publicly, or even people that I had been in relationships with of one type or of another for 10 plus years that I had dined with on a frequent basis. If you dare to disagree with them, then you become the bad person and they shut you down. This is just an extension of this. And who's to blame? This is fomented. This is created, the environment, by the left, by the Democrats, by the media that calls even today, that says on MSNBC, I played this clip earlier where the man came on and basically said that divisive rhetoric leads to divisive actions. And sometimes it can come back to haunt you, basically saying that Charlie Kirk deserved it. And I don't want that. I don't want to live in a nation that behaves in such a manner. But you have to be able to confront these people, these malevolent actors. Again, they're celebrating on Blue Sky on Twitter. They're publicly doing so. There's somebody from Middle Tennessee State got fired for saying that she has zero sympathy for Charlie Kirk as if he deserved it. She got fired for it. Good. Good. You are demonstrating how you should not be in charge of education of youth because you have absolutely zero compassion, even though you pretend to have tons and tons of empathy for the poor, struggling Black people that you convince, you go out of your way to explain to them how they're victims and they're oppressed, even though they have the mettle and the genetic predisposition, as we all do, to be able to achieve. But you go ahead and you have the wives marry the state instead of the father, and that leads to single parents that raise kids that are not particularly well adjusted, that go out and commit murders. And then you have the Irina Zarutska murder. By what? Because of this environment that was created. Partially, you had a sicko that says, I got that white girl. I got that white girl on the train over and over after stabbing this innocent 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee in the neck. And then you have Charlie Kirk getting assassinated because you can't deal with words, because you can't deal with debate. And thus you frame everybody as evil. And you foment this environment. You create an environment where people feel entitled to go out there with a high caliber rifle and to take him out from 200 yards. I am saddened to a great degree. I used to be a Democrat. At that point, the party represented something completely different. It stood on the side of free speech. It was anti-war. Today, they want to suppress speech and do so violently and are in favor of war. These are malevolent people, and I don't understand how we can live with them. I don't want to descend into a civil war, but at some point when you push somebody enough, they are going to punch back, and then you have a brawl and a melee. You can't just keep coming at people and telling them how wrong they are, how stupid they are, and when they just say, leave me alone, then you take off, and then they say, debate me, and then you take a high-power rifle and gun them down. Excuse me for not being hopeful in this moment for the future of the United States because these are being pushed. I don't know if China is doing this. I don't know if some foreign entity didn't pay for the murder of Charlie Kirk. But I'm going to firmly point the blame at the media, people like Elizabeth Warren that raise the temperature in the room, the people that do not see any difference between words and violence.
Speech can be violent. What you are saying contributes to systemic racism in this country.
The question was, have I asked people in this room if they've felt as though some violence has been committed on them? No, I haven't asked, because no violence has been committed on you. Because violence is not a subjective feeling. Violence is an objective fact.
And I think that you need to look up violence in the dictionary or expand your idea of violence.
This is who we're dealing with on a recurring basis. But it's only the words that are violent from the right. No, they can go ahead and shout, kill, kill, kill. They can go ahead, for example, Graham Linehan got arrested in Great Britain, and this is, again, part of the left, that he said that something, a joke about, just if a trans person is assaulting you, then go ahead and punch them in the balls. Basically saying that men cannot become women. He was arrested for this. But in England, if you say punch a turf, hit a turf in the throat, punished. You are not arrested for it because it's a double standard, because this is what the left has. And they think that they are so magnanimous and that everything must move in their direction and that they will usher in utopia when every time that communism has been tried is ended in horrific murders and death. And if you ever been to the Soviet Union, and I was there a couple of times and all over Eastern Europe, it's the epicenter of communism. And there's not one happy person in all of Moscow when the first time I was there in 2009. Good luck finding a smile on the street. And it's because people were learned not to smile, not to invite conversation, because if they said anything against the government in hand, then they would be shipped off to the gulag. So you get nothing but totalitarian control, and that's what these people want. But these people, the same ones that are cheering on the death for Charlie Kirk, believe that they are the anointed ones and the wise ones that can usher in utopia to the United States. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What am I missing here? What can we do about it? I really want to get a dialogue going with anybody that has answers, because I'm not smart enough, or I'm at a loss right now. Maybe it's the anger that's taken hold. And I don't think that the appropriate thing is necessarily to gun down Antifa as they are demonstrating in Portland outside of the ICE facility, and all of the neighborhood is vehemently against them because they keep them up late at night. And I actually wonder whether they're going to be out there the next couple of days showing themselves as Antifa, or whether or not they're going to have some sensibility, knowing that there might be some repercussions for the fact that these are the black-clad individuals that are justifying and celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. Thumb up the video, and God bless everybody out there during this tragic time.